mustn't be correct. A mere fancy of fate. If that is true, why does my mind churn so? Yes, as to be expected. Very good. Very good indeed. Can't be. The drummer, visible only in the autumn months, defies reality and hangs within the sky simply to taunt me. By Sigma, it's really happening, isn't it? The fourth constellation. Is there a fourth? The Azir continues to frenzy, and my research leads me to the drummer, a scientific impossibility given the time of year. Further study revealed Raya's cauldron also. I am beyond reason. There is no reasoning with the forces of fantasy. Though I loathe to admit it, the time has dawned. Sigma, protect us all. This cannot be the end I fear. The High Priest will receive my word soon enough and darken my door afterwards. When I am cowering in his shadow, I shall need a spark to light the black. Only a glimmer. Only if I am allowed it. A minuscule token of hope. It is the heavens that stole my resolve. It will be the heavens that return it. By the light of Azurios. Is this the answer to my plea? A glimmer of hope? Do we find salvation in the jaws of the God-bearer himself? Oh, Urson, are your people our saviors? Or our end? And all this an Geheimnis nach Div. Dark times linger on the horizon, I fear, and the Empire must be prepared. Something evil approaches, and it arrives tomorrow.
Oh! Oh! I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. And the Dark Prince wouldn't have it any other way. Welcome back, my friends. I am Mini Pride from Milk and Cookies Total War, and the 3rd and 4th teasers went live when I was still asleep in Dreamland. Those dastardly never-do-wells, they caught me with my pants down, my dudes, but these newest ones have taken an altogether different tone from the earlier entries in the series. The panic is setting in, as 2 more constellations have joined the chorus in the void, and in keeping with the theme, the Chaos Gods are well represented here. Go figure. I think most of us were on board with that theory yesterday, but it's impossible to ignore now. The drummer is the first to appear, the sign of excess and hedonism, a constellation that typically appears in late summer or early autumn, and the people born under it are known to be excessive, hedonistic party people. Just how SLAANESH likes it. Like many star signs, the drummer is viewed wildly different throughout the Empire. Some see it as a sign of celebration, others believe it to be a sign of the steady decline of civilization, but one thing that all agree on is that those who worship the sign tend to push the limits of all forms of experience. Sensory overload in a nutshell. But the drummer is not alone in this night sky. Raya's cauldron also appeared, the star sign of mercy, death, and creation, typically appearing in early winter. People born under it are known to be righteous, fearless, and merciful. This particular constellation is associated with all aspects of nature by astrologers, a sign by which people view death as merely the next step in a journey. Death and creation, with the symbol of a legit cauldron used for, I don't know, concocting plagues and facilitating the long game of entropy, well, those are familiar symbols and ideas, aren't they? I mean, these are really clear-cut. Obviously, we're getting another Skaven DLC. Could you imagine the outrage? Nah, the drummer is SLAANESH, chaos god of extreme excess, debauchery, pleasure, and pain. She who thirsts, the Dark Prince, whatever you want to call this hero of hermaphrodites, it is the 3rd chaos god in ascendance here. She will be joined by NURGLE, the chaos god of disease and decay, entropy, and the continuous cycle of death and rebirth. Now, up to this point, our protagonist has pretty much been in denial, right? We shan't see the third constellation tomorrow. There's no possible way this could really be happening, is there? But this third teaser is the one where stuff gets really real, where he realizes the gravity of the situation. Both constellations appeared in the same night sky, which is a scientific impossibility. The fact that Grungni's Baldric, the Piper, the Drummer, and Raya's Cauldron all appeared in the same evening, or in back-to-back evenings, when in a normal Warhammer year they'd be spread throughout all 4 seasons, means excrement is about to hit the proverbial fan, my dudes, and our Heavens Mage is having none of it. He's now seen the marks of all 4 Chaos Gods, autumn and winter stars are appearing in spring. It's bad news bears. The demons are on their way. This is the first teaser where he's not only recognizing that as a possibility, but as a probability, and that the attack is most likely imminent. What's really curious here is that NURGLE and SLAANESH were tackled in one fell swoop, in one teaser. Prevailing opinion is that the trailer launches on Wednesday or Thursday this week, given the fact that we've now gone 3 work days with teasers all back to back to back. Those are very common days of the week for massive news to drop. Wednesday and Thursday are usually the days that big trailers come out. And that would have made perfect sense. There are 4 Chaos Gods, and there have been 4 teasers. But wait a minute. Because at the start of this video, there was a 4th teaser that didn't appear to be tied to the Chaos Gods in any way, shape, or form. A noble bright constellation that our Azure Mage says is a glimmer of hope in the darkness. The star sign of Ursun, the Great Bear. This is huge news. The implications are massive. I already creamed my pants and I didn't have time to change. We're just doing it live, my dudes. We're doing it live. We've been speculating for a while that KISLEV would make its true debut on the world stage with Total War Warhammer 3, but obviously, because the game hasn't even been officially announced yet, there's been no word from Creative Assembly on that front. That just changed. And as we've been saying all this time, we finally have that good guy at the frontier of the known world, holding back the unwashed barbarian masses, teetering on a knife's edge, all of creation essentially being held in the balance. It was always unlikely that Warhammer 3 would ship with only Chaos factions. CA likes money. They like variety. They want to appeal to as large a demographic as possible. And KISLEV is going to provide that with Ice Guard and Zorina Katarin and freaking Bear Cavalry. This is justice for KISLEV, an incredibly cool and unique race in Warhammer Fantasy, and I am so happy they are going to get their time in the sun, even if it does maybe get a little bit icy. I cannot wait to see what their full roster looks like. They're going to be an amazing core race, and it does seem like all hints are pointing to the fact that they will be core. Now, we cannot take it as explicit confirmation yet, but implicitly, these teasers appear to be tied to playable factions in Total War Warhammer 3. That is not a guarantee, because it could be a situation where the narrative is being built up, demonic forces versus order, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that KISLEV, on the front line against Chaos, gives us that humanity versus impending cataclysm type of vibe that makes for a great story. But it really seems to me that monogod factions are in play, which is to say, a Coronate race, a Tzeentchian race, a Nurglite race, and a Slaaneshi race that combine the demons and mortals for each of the Chaos Gods into separated rosters. If these teasers were just tied to each Chaos God and that was it, I would not think much of it. We knew Chaos was coming. We know there are 4 Dark Brothers in the Ruinous Pantheon. Could have just been a hint towards demons and Chaos in general. But as soon as KISLEV showed up, the dynamic there completely changes. Again, it could be narrative-based, just trying to build a story, but to not hint at ogres or chaos dwarfs is a little bit suspicious, and it makes me feel like it might be trying to tell us something about what races will be there on day 1. If we get more teasers, that would certainly tell us something. If we saw an Ogre Kingdoms teaser or a Chaos Dwarfs teaser, then it's perfectly logical to assume they'll be there on launch day as well. But I am not personally aware of any constellations related to the Ogre Kingdoms or the Dawi Zar. Warhammer Wiki has a full page on all the constellations. I've went through all of them. I can't find any info that would really closely tie to those 2 factions. And there are other ways to get those 2 factions in the game around launch time. whether that be in the form of pre-order DLC or a month or two later down the line as a legit race pack. Or CA could just be holding them in the back pocket and saying, we don't want to spoil everything with the teasers, which honestly makes a lot of sense. So I guess at this point, the only way to know is to see the trailer itself, and the trailer is likely coming pretty soon. Again, 3 full workdays in a row with teasers. I can't imagine we're very far off at this point. Have no fear. There is a 0% chance Warhammer 3 passes us by without some thick boy and Babylonian hat action in the Forges of Zarnagrund and in the Mountains of Morn. They were both playable in 8th edition. They're considered core races for something like Immortal Empires. We will see them. The only question is when. And of course, all this does not mean we won't also get Chaos Undivided as well. There's just so much they could do here and so many ways to approach it that it kind of boggles the mind. But my lord, I am so incredibly excited. Right now, we've seen teases for Tzeentch, for Khorne, for SLAANESH, and for NURGLE. We've seen a tease for KISLEV. It's getting hype, boys. I cannot wait to see the trailer. I cannot wait to experience it with you. It has been a long time coming, but the road might finally be about to come to an end and then open up into a beautiful green meadow that we can all share together. Super hype. I will see you all very soon. Indie Pride, signing out for now.